What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the red color, building the granary on his chickens. His name is Cough Virus. He's playing as Zeus here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not 100% sure who he is, but I believe he is in the top echelon of the ladder. But his opponent today, his name is Jin Seon. He's playing in the blue color as Oranos. The map is Gold Rush. This is a new map that came in with Voobly Balance Patch 6.0, which has meant that, well, yes, we now get Gold Rush on the ladder. So the players are going to be actually learning about this map, getting accustomed to it, working out the meta, so to speak. I think it's a really, really interesting map. There's probably some blatant imbalances in it that are yet to be known, but throughout the tournaments that we've seen thus far on this map, it seems that every god has got a relatively decent shot at finding a win on this map with good play, and it ends up being a much more of a micro-centric map rather than like a really heavy raid map, just because of the way that everything kind of lays out. If you win a really big fight in the middle of the map, chances are you can find a win in this game. So it does come down to a lot to timings, a lot to squeezing out every little bit of juice that your civilization has got. And we'll see how things are going to go as the game continues on. I do have a comment from Moscow, who suggested this game, that he likes it in 1v1s, but in team games, it's a little bit imbalanced. I'm yet to see any games on it in team games. I know that there are probably some very, very busted strategies you can try on this map, but in general, it's going to be all about, in the team games, all about coordinating your efforts into the center of the map to secure all the gold mines. Alternatively, starting up a really, really big trade route as fast as you possibly can so that you don't have to fight for that middle might be another way to play. But it's a very, very new map, and team game meta generally takes a fairly long time for it to kind of get set in stone. For example, team game players played on Anatolia for like 20 plus years before they realized, you know what's really good on this map? Playing Loki and having a side player feeding the Loki. That wasn't a thing for a very, very long time, and now everybody does it. So team games do take quite a while to kind of get set in the meta, because there's just so many variables to account for. Anyways, we'll see what's going to be happening here as the game continues on. As everyone should be aware by now, on patch 6.0, Oranos no longer has his shockwave on the villagers. Shouldn't really impact this matchup all too much, because Oranos wants to use his shockwave on every centaur he possibly can, and only on centaurs here, to kind of allow him to stay afloat here. So this matchup, you shouldn't really see all too many different things happening here. It should be relatively similar, but we'll see what's going to happen as Prometheus is coming through. Virus here is going through Hermes, so no surprises. Getting his Jason, getting his Centaur. He's got 2 villagers on that temple there. Building a second mining camp over here, a second storehouse. A little bit interesting there to build it basically in the same position. This is purely for efficiency's sake. If you start chopping down this this storehouse here, you can probably have about 2 or 3 villagers on this tree. You can probably have 2 or 3 2 villagers on this tree, 2 villagers on this tree, and it's going to be fine for the moment. But as you chop into the forest, it starts being a lot more inefficient. So getting this storehouse up nice and early doesn't actually net you anything straight away. But as the game goes on, you're going to find those resources coming in and paying dividends throughout the game. As I love this here from Virus. He's really making a great case for the minimal amount of granaries to be built here, as he does hit that second age through Hermes. Excuse me. As the Sylvan Lord does come through. Jin Seon here, no surprise to see it. Counter barracks, military barracks. He has got all the cows in the world here, ladies and gentlemen. He has 17 cows in his base. Virus at the moment only has got 7. So this is a very, very heavy advantage for Jin Seon in this game. How did he get that? Well, obviously here, Virus didn't scout the center of the map fast enough, and that's allowed Jin Seon quite a bit of advantage here, as we do see. Oh, that special attack, I thought it was going to come out. Looked a little bit of a damage there coming through, but Jin Seon will get his mana up. The units will come out. Probably wouldn't try to Valor this Murmillo here. Just get everyone else. Get the double Terma in. We'll see if he knows the trick, or if he's going to garrison. No, I don't know. There is a trick to this, or he might just go for the. He might just go for these ones. Or wait, no Valor? Okay. The later you use the Valor, the better. He's going to garrison this. Okay, there we go. There's the trick. You keep the units stationary, the other units move, and as you do see, that shockwave is in. The bolt is down. A little bit of damage is going to come in. Probably not how I would use the shockwave. You're not going to kill that centaur all too often with just two Murmillos, but he wants to get that damage done nonetheless as fast as he can, so that next shockwave comes up as soon as possible. But if you leave the units stationary, the units that are moving will get prioritized for that Valor. A little bit of a trick there. Chemo in the chat asking, did Gold Rush replace a different map? No, every other map is still in there. There was a little bit of conversation about removing a map. If there is a map you want to be removed, it's definitely a possibility to make that opinion heard, and it could happen. I think that the map pool, personally, I think the map pool could do with some adjustments, because there's a lot of really, really good maps that we play on in tournament. For example, there's Calm Shores. That's really good replacement for a map like Anatolia. There's the Secluded Expanse, which is a really, really good replacement for maps like Oasis. There's Mirage, which is a really, really interesting map, which we don't really have inside of the map pool. Lots of different maps that could go in, but obviously, I think a lot of players, they enjoy. One thing that I think is important to note is that learning a new map for a top player is actually really, really easy, but learning a new map for any of the lower level players, that's quite challenging. So you don't want to be like forcing players to play on maps that play ridiculously differently, like on islands, for example, or something like that. Even if they do end up being balanced, you want to be a little bit careful with what you're doing in terms of the map pool. So we do see a little bit of raids coming through here for Virus. Jin Seon coming through. We see a lot of the units getting pulled back here. This is a really interesting idea from Jin Seon. He's not putting any pressure on to Virus in this game. He's just keeping his economy nice and safe. He's not losing anything here. We do see Virus, he's got an army started, making a whole bunch of units out. We do see the units popping out onto this position here as the army of Virus is coming through. And generally speaking, if Oranos doesn't get that damage done, life gets really, really tough for him, as Virus still hasn't managed to get all too much damage done here at the moment. But we'll see how things are going to go as one Murmillo does fall. The army trying to push forward in onto this position as another Murmillo getting taken out. Great micro from Virus here. He needs to get that value from the Centaur as this game continues along, as the hoplites and everything else are getting sniped down by the Terma, though. So it's not like it's all going swimmingly here for Virus. As Jin Seon, he's going to be close to that full population. In fact, he is at full population at the moment. And both of the gold mines in the main base, Gold Rush does spawn with 2 medium gold mines, but both the gold mines in the main base here for Virus are at the front here. So really big pressure here from Jin Seon could spell absolute disaster for Virus. So Virus is going to need to be very, very careful about the fights he's taking. He is doing a great job poking with these Centaur, taking a lot of units out here for Jin Seon. He is losing a lot at the moment. But that being said, every time one of these units falls, this villager should be coming out what is important here for Oranos is consistently getting that citizen to be trained. You really don't want to be sitting with 99% on that town center for all too long, because that just means that the opponent is going to be able to catch up to you in terms of their villages. The way that Atlantean economy works versus the vanilla economy basically is you're in front for the entire game until your opponent catches up to you. So if you aren't training villagers, your opponent is in essence catching up to you. So you got to be very, very careful here. But man, Virus's micro is going off the chains here. Jin Seon just cannot take a fight, but Shockwave is just about to come up. He's going to be able to utilize that on those centaurs. He's also got a Valor here to use, but it looks like Virus here, he has gotten a very, very strong army himself here. We take a quick look at the population. Virus is at 115 population while this game is going on. There's the Shockwave hitting literally everything of Virus there. This is going to be a big, big help for Jin Seon throughout this fight, as the Odysseus is going to try and take out some of those Prometheans on the back there, but they're still getting some good value moving forward, as Jin Seon basically is sacking the entirety of his army. Those Centaur is still very, very much alive here in this one. All of the heroes are falling, and it looks like Virus has managed to find himself a solid advantage moving forward here in this game, as Jin Seon pulls all the way back here. And look at Koth Virus. He's at 103 population. Jin Seon is at 100 population. Where to go next here for Jin Seon is the big question. He's lost so many units, but how's the army looking? There's a lot of low HP units there for Koth Virus. There's a chance here that Jin Seon might be able to win the next fight moving forward. And we pause this broadcast to thank Acid Madra for the Prime. 12 months, that's a long time. I appreciate you, my friend, for the consistent support. Where are we going for our anniversary? I'm excited. Alrighty. So, Jin Seon here, he's now, well, I mean, he's still got a good economy. That's the thing. He's still got these cows. He hasn't had to build farms like Virus has. So, in a way, even though Virus has won a fight here and Jin Seon's basically sacked his entire army, Jin Seon hasn't had to build those farms. So technically speaking, after all is said and done, Jin Seon might be actually kind of equal in terms of resources spent here. So there's obviously has to build farms at some point, but we'll see how things are going to be going as he's going to be pulling back for the time being. We do see Koth Virus starting to push forward. The Momillo checking around here as Jin Seon going to pull all the way back in, sniping that Katoskopos as the Centaur. There's so many Centaur here as Jin Seon going to be pushing in onto this location over here. And the Momillo going to swing through here as well to start slapping down those Centaur as well. Good garrison micro from Jin Seon on that one there as well, as he's trying to snipe down the Centaur as best as he can. He does manage to do so beautifully where that's concerned, as Virus going to be pulling back here. Thank you for the Prime there, Schism. 14 months. Appreciate you, my friend. We do see that Jin Seon has managed to hit the heroic age here. He's actually cut villages completely in this one right now, and he is just going to be spamming out the military units moving forward. He's actually, wait, where are all his villages? He's got 4 villages on literally everything. Like, these villages are moving forward for whichever reason. Not sure exactly where they're going to be going. As the Chaos did get dropped down, the units are pushing forward. Jin Seon does find himself this gold mine in the middle. He's going to be looking to drop a palace down here, and I actually really, really like this play. Cutting villages at this point makes a lot of sense, because what he's going to be able to do is spend every little bit of resource here just putting buildings into the center of the map in order to control this game. But if Virus can kind of recognize what's going on and deal with that, he might be completely fine here. Still not producing those villages. What are his upgrades looking like? He's got all these good upgrades in there, and we do see some more military buildings coming in as Jin Seon. The other thing that you have to be a little bit concerned about here in these situations as the Oranos player cutting villages is you've got to hit your opponent's villages as well and get value where that's concerned, as we do see the ceasefire getting dropped. The military barracks up on the front of the map here as well. We'll see if Jin Seon's going to start those villages at any point here or grab a second town center or whatever. Obviously, this is a very, very specific decision here from Jin Seon in order to really apply the pressure moving forward. And the fact that he's not building those citizens means he's going to be able to get those town centers up a little bit faster as well. But we do see that the citizen are started now after the ceasefire has been clicked up there. And we'll see what's going to happen here. Do we see any upgrades? No upgrades coming through here for Jin Seon. If we take a look at Koth Virus's base here, we can see he's got that gold mine left. He's got 1,800 gold in the bank. He's got 12 villages on farms. He is finished up on whatever else was out here, moving into the center of the map to grab this gold mine. A little bit risky at this moment because Jin Seon is in full send with his army, but Virus is also at full population. But who's got more population in terms of villages at this moment? Who's going to be winning these fights? Chances are Jin Seon's actually got more military units here, as we do see the shockwave there onto those hoplites to push back. The heavy Murmillo in as well, going to be getting some good value onto this one as those Murmillo heroes pushing forward onto this location as well, taking out all these units on the front. Arcus also coming in here as Jin Seon's second town center just about to be finishing up, and it does look like Jin Seon manages to win that fight just by the fact that he's not been building villages here. He's just got so much more military than Virus does in this game. At least I think he's got more military population. I'm actually not sure. We'll have to do a little bit of a post-game investigation to see exactly what's going on here. But he's got himself heavy Murmillo. He's got a lot of Murmillo, and he's got a lot of units here on the front trying to push forward to take out those Hippocon, trying to push in and kill off this gold mine as well, as the Murmillo getting pulled back over here as well. And we'll see how things are going to go. There's still 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining on that second Chaos, which obviously is going to be wanting to build there. Also, still trading out those Prometheans is a little bit of a question mark move, in my opinion. You want to be building yourself Satyrs, not Prometheans here. They do cost quite a bit of resources there, as Virus going to be holding for the time being, and Jin Seon needs to retreat back. He's got a lot of gold in the bank at the moment here, and it looks as if Jin Seon's army is kind of faltering here ever so slightly, but Virus at the moment, he's building maybe too many Hippocon, which is allowing those Murmillos, those heavy Murmillos, to get a lot of value, as we also see the heavy Arcus is through here for Jin Seon as well, as that gold is still creeping up. I'm not sure what he's going to be using for with that gold. Maybe he can throw down a market at some point and just buy a whole bunch of food. I mean, that's got to be an option, right? Obviously, it costs quite a bit to throw the market up, and you don't really want to be building that one at this point, as the army's still crashing in to this position here, as the Chaos, 10 seconds remaining, going to be a lot of assistance here. And now Jin Seon does decide to swap some villagers off of gold at the moment, as he realizes he's got a little bit too much gold in the bank here. Virus at the moment, though, he's also spamming out those villagers as best he can. But you have to remember, he's stuck in the classical age. He's only got Plow, and Blue Crystal Shard doesn't really help him on those farms. So the food income is really, really slow here, and he's only building those food units. He does finally have some archery ranges set up, and I don't think that that Toxotes are a bad idea here. As the Greek player, you've always got to be fully aware of what unit composition your Oranos opponent is building, and we can now see there's no Terma in this army, which means there's no chance for Jin Seon here to be sniping those Toxotes with his Terma. So you can 100% very, very safely go into Toxotes and start winning these fights moving forward. But Jin Seon, he's at full population here, still taking these fights. One very low HP hero, Arcus, here is going to be getting some good value. And there is an Odysseus there that could snipe that one off, but Virus does not notice that. The Arcus does end up falling after all is said and done there, though. And Virus needs to retreat back yet again. And we'll see if Virus can defend this. He's still got a little bit of gold left in the main base, but this pressure, what this pressure has done, you might be looking at Jin Seon and going, what is he doing? He's just sacking units over and over again. But what it's doing is it's keeping Virus in the classical age, forcing Virus to actually have to move out of his base and fight for this next gold mine. It's a really, really smart strategy here. And Virus here, he's just not gotten his second town center. He's not gotten anything in order to kind of compete with this now heavy army of Jin Seon. And as the raids are going to start here, for Virus. We'll see if we can actually find anything. There are some citizens over here, which will be a lot of damage. Is Jin Seon, he's not even building citizen out of the second town center. You can see that he only built that one for the population. He's still got citizen training out of one town center, but it's very, very specific. I'm surprised to see this third town center not going up for Jin Seon, but another option would be, that's pretty good here, would be to throw up a palace on this position here to start hitting this gold mine, as the Arcus, the heavy Arcus, is going to be pushing Virus back yet again here. As Virus here, look at him go. He's almost got the food to advance to the next age. Getting to that heroic age is not really that important in this matchup, if I'm completely honest, especially after all the fighting. You have to kind of recognize these sorts of things. But we do see a great raid, or a great catch here from Virus. He's going to get onto those Arcus, as the Arcus are retreating back nicely, but he's going to be able to get a lot of picks off onto those, allowing his Hippocon to get some good damage done, as we do see the Toxotes coming through as well. Those are going to be helping out quite a bit here, but the hero Arcus are still going to be able to come through and take out those Centaur Polmarks. Good micro there from Virus, though, to pull away, but not enough, as the Centaurs all end up basically falling here. As well, there's still 3 left, but they are getting taken down very, very quickly, as the hero Mermillo are also in on this position. All of the Centaurs are getting taken down. Jin Seon still at full population. Lots and lots of gold in the bank. Lots and lots of wood in the bank as well, as the Mermillo pushing through onto this position here, going to be taking out those villagers as best as he possibly can, as the Jason and Odysseus doing what they can here as well. And we'll see what's going to happen as Jin Seon pushes forward here with his double citizens. He wants to drop a palace down. You know he wants a palace on this position. But that being said, there's other gold mines on the map. Kind of hard to grab, but committing 100% onto one gold mine might be not the best of ideas, as the Mermillo taking out all of those Hippocon in the middle here. And you can see that Jin Seon, he doesn't even care about that third town center at the moment. He is just full send, full trade. He does decide to retreat back here, because I think a lot of his units are sitting idle and needs to be getting those rally points fixed up. Been watching too many Boit videos, realizing that you don't want to copy him where that's concerned. You want to be updating your building rally point as the game goes on. As a Centaur does get taken out there, the hero Mermillo are going to attempt to take out the Centaur over here, as these double citizens on the front here coming forward. Cough Virus here, 84 population right now. He's got the food to advance, but his gold is just not there. He's got himself Shaft Mine as well. Part of this is like he's still trying to build those Hippocon, which is such a high gold cost unit. Maybe if he switches into like hoplites or something, he might be able to get some more gold in. That being said, with all of those Arcus in, maybe that's not the best of ideas anyways, as Jin Seon pushes off the gold mine, and for the first time in this game, he's basically overtaken Virus's score here, but good decision-making from Virus to pull off of the gold mine there, just to not lose any villagers, buying himself a little bit of time. But the problem is, even if Virus gets up to full population, he's got so much economy here, because he's been training villagers non-stop in this game. He's got so much economy, and he's just no way to spend it, because he doesn't have the population to spend it here, allowing Jin Seon to just continue to just run into this position with more population than Virus, taking good fights consistently here, basically making up for the fact that his economy is a little bit on the weaker sides of life here. And this is why he's floating so many units, or so much resources. It's because he's not needing to spend that many resources on units, because he's not losing his army much in the slightest here, as the Centaur getting taken out on this position, the villagers pulling back, and Virus in that moment has to tap out, and Jin Seon finds a very, very nice win here on this Gold Rush map with some incredibly specific villager cutting action here to allow him to have the military prowess. This is some sort of like Nature Phoenix level strategy. If you guys don't know Nature Phoenix, he was a guy played in the vanilla days, and he would purposefully not train villagers in order to get more military out. This was before everyone was saying it's just better to build villages consistently, which it might be, but sometimes breaking the rules is a thing. Let's check out the post game here and see exactly what was going on. You can see Virus has got more wood than Jin Seon. Jin Seon sitting with some decent resources in the bank here in terms of food and gold as well. 62 civilian units here for Virus, and it does look like Jin Seon did manage to get up to 23 civilian units after all is said and done, which is basically fully popped on the villages anyways. But we'll take a quick look at this graph over here, and it'll tell us a big story about this game, which is the resource total. Incredibly close here, ladies and gentlemen. The resource total is incredibly close. Why is this crazy? Generally speaking, the Atlantean player's economy is always going to be significantly far above the enemy economy. But in this situation, because Jin Seon, if we take a look at the civilian unit count, it's just stagnant. It does not go up. He's sitting at 14 villages all of this time. He's sitting at 15 villages, 16 villages here. It's sitting at 16 villages. It doesn't move, which is why Jin Seon's economy here was just not pushing any further in front in this game. But he had the military units here in terms of always pushing these ones out. So a really specific way to play. If you're playing against this sort of a player as the player with the resources, because you're building more villages, you're defending, how do you defend against this? What is the way that Greek needs to defend against this? Well, I'll tell you what unit here doesn't cost population and deals damage. The tower. The best way and the only way to really defend against these sorts of hyper-aggressive Oranos gameplay is to spam towers out and sit under them. Why? Every single one of these watchtowers costs 300 resources, but they're dealing about 8.8 damage, which is roughly equal to about 4 population worth of DPS. So if your opponent is spamming units in and you've only got, say, 20, 30, 40 population worth of military, they've got 40, 50, 60 population worth of military themselves, you get a couple of towers up, they're not going to be able to take that fight anymore because you've got more population worth of DPS on those locations. So something to keep in the back of your mind playing here for the anti-Oranos players on this map. If you find the Oranos player doing something a little bit odd, get those towers up and then force your opponent. Your opponent's going to have to fight there because he's going full send, full all in. Get those towers up and you should be able to hold on these sorts of positions. Virus could not work it out in this game. Jin Seon, nice little strategy here. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.